Good evening, everybody. Producer Dave is on assignment, so I am here on behalf of Longwell Productions, as I always am, with our host for This Is a Work one, David Two Dogs Hayes. David?
You did great.
Don't you lie to me.
Well, I don't know how we're going to get through this podcast if I don't. So, thank you very much, Chris Barnes, and welcome to Rock Hill, South Carolina's only premier wrestling pay-per-view podcast. See, now I'm messing up. This is a work. I, of course, am your host, David Two Dogs Hayes, and right staring me in the face now instead of beside me is my tag partner, Chris, the Fashion Plate Barnes. How are you, sir?
Why is that sticking? That makes no sense to me. Stop repeating it.
You're like, what's the guy's name? Blackwell? The fashion guy? Yeah, that's who you are, man.
Here are my jeans and t-shirt.
Let's see, you did this to yourself.
I did not.
Every pay-per-view you have commented on
it's
every
something to comment on.
I agree. And it's warranted, but because of the outcry.
Oh.
I love it. I love it, and so should you.
I feel like Vince just walked up into the back and says, "Good news, pal. You're going to be the new gobbledygook."
You're Shorty G, which you haven't been watching, but
I have not.
I haven't seen the latest edition of Raw, but I'm pretty sure that's what Luke Harper has in his cage. Yeah, there's it's gotten so bad. I mean, it's unwatchable, man.
He's got something in a cage?
He's got something in a something. I'm assuming it's a cage.
I bet it's a giant egg.
Well, at first, the first time he did, he's looking at it, he's like, "Oh, look at you. Oh, you're a cutie, aren't you?" And he's talking to it, baby talking it. And then this week, he's like, "Oh, you're getting so big. You got big from last week, didn't you?" "Yes, you did." And I'll bet it's the gobbledygooker. I'll bet it is. That's the kind of garbage that they would throw at us. I feel it.
Well, see, because now at this point he's nostalgia, and
yeah,
and it's Survivor Series coming up. So,
but you know what? Okay, let's go ahead and get the bad out of the way.
All right.
First, little bit of wrestling news. We're just going to talk about this just a little bit, and then we're going to move on to something awesome, which was AEW's Full Gear.
Oh, God, yes.
So, I have spoken on the podcast before that we got a lot of wrestling going on. One of the great things that's happening in wrestling is NWA Power. Studio wrestling is back, and it's got this great old school feel to it. It's fantastic. You guys have heard me talk about it, and you've heard me put it over. Jim Cornette, who was commentary on NWA Power, has now stepped down from his commentary position because of a quote-unquote racist remark that he made that seemed to offend somebody. Now, I'm going to say this. We're not going to get in on this. We're not going to get into this. Maybe we'll get into it a little bit.
I mean, I know literally nothing about this, so I can't really call it one way or the other.
I'm not going to repeat what he said. I'll let you Google it. But I will say this. Jim Cornette is one of the greatest managers in wrestling history. Period, point blank. That is fight me. He goes on the Mount Rushmore right along with Bobby Heenan and Jimmy Hart. Having said that, I disagree with a lot of what Jim Cornette thinks about wrestling. He's got some very crazy political views. And I don't agree with. I only agree with maybe 10% of everything that spews out of his face.
All right, having just Googled it,
Okay.
I think I will weigh in and say an err on the side of I don't think he was making a black joke so much as there's a no food in Africa joke.
Well, you see, Barnes, he's been making that. Let's not say it on the air.
Just that quote from what I'm reading is like, okay, I see what he was trying to do.
Yeah, and he's been making this same joke since the 80s.
Right. And again, in the 80s, no one really would have thought twice about that one.
And I was talking to a good friend of mine yesterday about it. And, he was telling me, he was like, if he wouldn't have said the type of food that it was.
Yeah, I think that's it exactly.
Then he'd have been fine.
I think that's 100% it.
I will say this, even though me personally, I don't like Jim Cornette.
Right.
I disagree with almost everything that comes out of his mouth.
And that's fair because he has some very, very strong views on what wrestling is and should be and should always be.
He's stuck in the 80s.
He is.
And look, there's nothing wrong with that, but I guess there's not. But look, I don't want you in charge of anything. Yeah. Wrestling related. Maybe
he was until now fun in the old man yells in cloud position.
Exactly. In fact, there's a great meme with Cornette that's got his face and his old man yells at wrestling.
It is, yeah. It is specifically like because of Botchamania having made use of his "what the fuck is going on" face.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like. I will say this. I don't think Jim Cornette is a racist.
No. I don't think that.
I think he's a jerk. I don't like the way I don't like his ideas about a lot of the new product. Some of the things I agree with. Some of them, it's hard to deny. But most of the things that he says, I dislike and don't agree with. I don't like the way he treats wrestlers in general. I don't like the way he treats people in general. Having said all that, I don't think he's a racist.
No, I think since he is a deeply Southern man, I think that was just like the first food that just popped in his head.
It's right. He also is from Kentucky, so yeah. What are you going to do? Now that we've got that out of the way,
I will just say I think given that his entire career has been built off of being the inflammatory manager, I think
and look, that's a dad joke.
It is.
It's a dad. That's exactly what
it's one of those roll your eyes. What the hell?
It's
it's a groaner. It's come on.
It's a 2 at best.
That's the cue for the other announcers to go, oh come on, Jim.
Right.
Exactly. And try and get
If Gorilla Monsoon had been there, he would have looked at me and go, will you stop? And
with Bobby going, what? That's exactly what that is.
Yeah. Now, so, Jim will land on his feet. He's doing all right. He's got podcasts. He's got other things going on. He'll be fine.
No one's erasing him from any websites.
No. Well, you can't at this point. As legend, once you achieve legendary status, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like these kind of things blow up, and then you look at the context and go, wait. Maybe it's not that bad, but then there are just people at this point who are like, no, it's always terrible. Never do it.
Right.
But in the context of him being a character, being the announcer, that he is probably meant to be the heel color, right?
Oh, yeah, without question.
100%.
Yeah. Actually, I don't even think that he's really a heel color.
Really?
I think he's just color commentary.
But then it's Jim Cornette,
Right. So
So if he's not popping off like that, what is he doing there?
Right, exactly.
Why did you hire Jim Cornette?
Yeah. But
not to say it's okay. In any other context,
you just gotta.
Okay, basically, if you want context, this is how Howard Cosell got fired.
Mm-hmm. It is how, yeah.
He said something he did not mean as a terrible thing.
Yeah.
He didn't. Because I remember watching an HBO documentary about Cosell.
Right.
And about how he got fired, and it's like, oh yeah, he should not have said that. Definitely. Yeah. But I mean, really?
That's where I'm like, come on, guys. Let's look. I get it. We're Cornette and probably me too should realize where we're at in society now. Yeah. This is how you have to behave and talk and whatnot.
Right. Even if you're being
even if you're just making a really bad dad joke.
Yeah.
But anyway, having said, I should also point out that the views and opinions that we've expressed thus far do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Long Walk Productions.
100%.
So we've talked about it. Let's get into something happy.
Yes.
AEW, All Elite Wrestling, full freaking gear, man. Oh my God, what a pay-per-view, huh?
Absolutely. I told Dave after finally getting to watch this, if people want to go, why are you like wrestling? Mm-hmm. This show. This show.
Preach, brother. Preach, brother. So now, did you catch the opening?
From what I got to watch, I didn't see the full opening.
Okay. So the buy-in starts. We have one match, and it's a women's match: Britt Baker versus Priestley.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. I forgot about the buy-in. I forget. That's free on YouTube, everybody. When the pay-per-views are going on, they have a pre-show free on YouTube.
Yeah. Man, this was the worst match on the card.
Oh,
it was terrible. Britt, they're trying to push her as the number one gal.
Is this the dental hygienist?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she's from Britsburg.
Okay.
See, that's another dad joke. See what I did there?
It's
fine. They're trying to make her the number one gal there. That's that's where this is headed. It's what it looks like anyway. But I'll be honest, man, she has not really impressed me since I've seen her. Like there's potential, but she's not pulling it together. And I did hear that night that she had the flu that night.
Okay.
And she was running like 102-degree fever, something like that.
Okay. I mean, props on her for being able to stand then.
Yeah. Of course, Bret Hart had a 104-degree fever when he wrestled his brother.
Oh, you sexist pig.
Yeah, just saying. Excellence of execution.
Oh wow, that you of all people would drop that.
I know. I've made myself sick doing that.
All right, that's where the line is. Racism bad, sexism fine. All right.
No, this match was bad.
Right.
There's just no getting around with it. I like Priestley. I think Priestley could do okay, but she was thinking up the joint too, so we can't blame this all on Baker.
Now, which one's Priestley? I'm sorry.
Bea Priestley. She's Well, I don't really know how to describe her.
Okay.
You just have to Google her. She's female wrestler in AEW. It's just, that's she's all right. But neither one of them were doing each other any favors. Mm-hmm. Britt Baker ends up going over with the mandible claw, and she calls it something, but I don't remember what she calls it.
I don't know if honestly, I get that she's a dental hygienist, but really, is that what we're going? I mean, I don't know if that's it doesn't seem like thematically proper for her.
No, it's. I don't know. I kind of wish that we could get Glenn Jacobs out of retirement and have him go back to Isaac Yankem.
He's got mayor stuff to do.
Yeah, but how busy is Knoxville really? I mean, we can do this.
Plus, all he has to do is raise his arms and use the flames to teleport himself.
There you go. See, yeah. It's the magic of the Brothers of Destruction. It could happen. I hated this match. This match got a 1. I think this is the lowest I have rated an
AEW match in general?
An AEW, yeah.
Yeah.
It was not good. But then we move into the main card. And we start out with the Young Bucks versus Proud and Powerful. Now, first of all, can we just call them LAX? Because I hate that name.
Also, when they came out, that was basically the LAX entrance.
Yeah.
Because I had seen enough TNA to see their entrance, and it's like, that's the same damn thing.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, did they get the rice? They just copied it.
I hate that name.
Ortiz and Santana.
Just Ortiz and Santana, or just
Santiz or Tana.
Or just call it, just say Lax. I don't know, whatever. But Proud and Powerful, number one, it doesn't roll off the tongue.
Well, I mean, it barely does, but that's only because of the alliteration.
Yeah.
That's really
it honestly, it reminds me of Power and Glory.
A little.
And boy, what a great team that was.
That also had a Santana in it.
No, that was
Was it not?
No, that was the Mighty Hercules and Paul Roma.
Oh, right. I thought there was some version that had Santana in it. Tito Santana.
No, you're thinking of Strike Force.
You're right, and I am...
That was a better team. That was a much better team.
As soon as you said Strike Force, I was like, oh yeah, no, that's it.
WWF Tag Team Champions beat the Hart Foundation for it. Yeah, good times. Good times.
Didn't hear that come up during the.
Yep, they had their own song in the wrestling album, Pile Driver.
They did.
Girls in Cars.
Yep. Didn't hear that Strike Force loss come up in their induction speech.
No. This was an amazing match, guys.
Yes.
Proud and Power. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Watching Proud and Powerful
to come into this coming off of, because I missed what the last pay-per-view, so to come into this off of Crown Jewel is fucking mind-blowing.
Is it not? I mean,
first of all, both teams killing it.
God, and knowing you can really see when a promoter likes tag team wrestling and when a promoter hates tag team wrestling.
Yes.
And it's not a secret that Vince hates tag wrestling. He does.
He doesn't care for it. He sees it like a means to an end.
Yeah. Whereas you got you got Cody here, who looks like he loves tag wrestling, and he's showing it with these four. My God, did they tear it up?
100%. They were both being like in terms of like they would do the cutoffs. They would keep the other guys isolated. They would pull their stuff.
They started. What was it? Was it Matt that, or was it Nick? It was Nick that got hurt.
Nick that got hurt in his right knee, I think.
Yeah, and he starts selling it the whole time.
He sold it so great.
Oh,
so
God.
he remembered, is like, I will pull these moves off, and then he would immediately be on his knee. And it's like he would, he would make it perfectly sell. Like, I'll pull myself up and put everything I can to do pulling off this move, and then be like, fuck.
Yeah, I got to tag out, and it's oh my God, it was so good.
They all had great moments. I think my favorite was Matt went to go do something to attack, and Ortiz intercepted him, and ended up making him faceplant on the ringside. And he turns to the camera and goes, "I'm a genius."
So much good stuff happened during this match.
Here's something I think I don't know if they did it specifically just to go be like, haha, we can do it better, WWE, but the interplay with the refs.
Yeah.
Okay, in this match in particular, like they involved the refs. Mm-hmm. The refs, pushed back and to point out they're the authority in the ring. Yeah. And they did a great job with it, and they had a great comedy spot with it. Yeah. And it was so much fun, and it wasn't. Oh my! I feel like they were going, what was that shit in the Hell in the Cell? Yeah. It was some good stuff. It was really, really dynamic stuff. It worked. They worked it through different matches too. Oh yeah, absolutely they did. Now, if this had just been that would have been enough. Oh, yeah. But, Chris, we didn't end as the Proud and Powerful beats the Young Bucks. They do. But we did not stop there. Oh, I should have mentioned Awesome Kong in the... It doesn't matter. Yeah. Well, they showed clips of it during the... we'll go back to it after this. It's not where it ended, because in the crowd is the Rock and Roll Express. Oh, that's right. That's part of this. Ortiz and Santana disrespected them. Yes. And that's part of what this match was about. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. That's right. We have to talk about this. Yeah. Ricky and Robert climb up on the apron. Yeah. They brought, now was it, excuse me, was it Ortiz that got taken over to the apron? Santana was the taller one with the headband. Okay. He gets, he runs at them, they pull the ropes, he goes flying out. Yeah. Ricky. Go ahead. Ortiz charges at them. Ricky sunset flips him. Now, if you have not seen... Well, it wasn't necessarily... okay. It wasn't necessarily a sunset flip. It wasn't necessarily... Fine. That's what they called it. That's what I went with. Okay. But for a second, there was like this moment of, oh my God, is he going to... he made it and pulled it. Well, I don't necessarily know that he made it. Okay. There's a curve. There's a curve. And he made it onto Santana's back. Now, here's the thing. Ortiz. I'm sorry. Ortiz really helped him sell it because it looked smoother than it probably would have been anywhere else. Turned that thing into a Canadian destroyer. That's what it was. Okay, yes. Remind me to tell you about Sunset Flip. Okay. Later. I give up. And then Ricky took the opportunity to dive between the ropes. Now, my butt cheeks clenched up a little bit. I thought a man was going to die. I did too. But they were in the right spot, and they caught him, and it looked fantastic. They held those ropes open for him, and he dove like it was 1983. And that mullet was still full. Oh. He made it, man, and it was pretty. Yes. It looked great. It was a lot better than that destroyer. Yes. Oh, man. I mean, that's how you start. Yes. That's how you start things. Oh, my God, that match. So many awesome things happened. I almost forgot about it. Oh, yeah. No, everything was so great with this. I gave this
4.5 Meltzers.
Yes. And here's the thing about the matches. I think they all had 30-minute time limits.
I think they did, yeah.
Yeah, and they would tell you it's like 15 minutes have elapsed, 15 minutes more to go. And I think it's great because there were only, I think, 5 matches on that card?
There weren't many.
Yeah, there was I think 5 was like the maximum. Because it was great. There were fewer matches, but
there was actually 7.
7, okay. Then some went shorter than I thought. But but they gave the matches all the time they needed.
They did. Which, that's something a lot of people were saying this pay-per-view was too long.
Fuck them.
Now, I don't agree.
Fuck them. And I say that that because this was about the standard amount of time that a WWE pay-per-view is.
See, WWE's are longer.
It was 3.5 hours.
Yeah, 3.5 hours. Most WWE's go 4.
They go about 4, and sometimes including a pre-show. I mean, they're usually about 3 to 4 hours with a pre-show. They try to give you so much content, but it drags.
Yeah,
this did not feel like it dragged.
No, it didn't. So good. So yeah, 4.5 Meltzers. Proud and powerful, defeat the Young Bucks. And, the Young Bucks, being vice presidents,
yes,
they continue to do the favors.
Absolutely.
That's integrity. Look at these guys, huh? I mean...
Oh, that reminds me, also something to point out. For every team or wrestler that comes out, they give you their stats. They give you their win-loss record.
Right.
They show you what's happening.
Yeah. And I did a comparison.
I knew this would be this is a perfect fed for you because they are also statistics nerds.
Yeah,
and they're showing you that the win losses matter. Which
I'm not gonna do my stats tonight. We're gonna wait till next week after Survivor Series. I will do them at the end of the month.
Okay, all right.
And
you hear that, WWE? You got a performance review coming up.
Boy, God, I wish I could. I wish my performance reviews mattered.
I know.
Oh, boy. I'd bring them all into the office. Anyway. So let's move on here. We have Hangman Adam Page versus Pac.
This was probably my least favorite one just because I'm not a huge...
Really?
I'm not a huge... I'm not huge on either of these guys. Not to say it wasn't a good match.
What?
That was like the same reaction when I told Dave and Katie I didn't like Zombievers.
That's fine. That's
nothing you care about.
That's
so
not
fine.
real.
They need time to grow on me now. I mean, because I'm still remembering Pac as Neville.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen enough of Hangman Adam Page. Not that I hate him, but I just haven't seen enough to feel endeared to him.
He's got a horse that died that he named Hunter Horse Helmsley. Okay. That's a shoot.
Neat. Yes, and he also has a T-shirt that has cowboy shit on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Not actual cowboy shit.
No,
it's just
what
he
does.
The words.
It's just what he does, cowboy shit.
I like the match.
I didn't say I hated the match.
Okay, all right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't say I hated the match. I just say right now neither of these guys excite me.
Okay, all right.
But that was a good match. Shut up.
I love the match, man. I thought
sorry.
it was fantastic.
Okay, so you get to be lukewarm on things, but I've heard you give that same kind of reasoning before.
No, you're right.
It's just, again, I'm not arguing that the match was bad. I'm not into it.
No, I dig what you're saying, and it did get a slightly low. It was no Young Bucks versus LAX
because the two kind of had the same thing going from different angles. It's like I'm a tough guy. I'm tough cowboy. I'm a tough
bastard,
dirty Englishman. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought there was some great spots in this match.
Sure.
Technically almost perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I gave this match a 3.5 Meltzer.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun watching it. I don't know what your problem was, but
Well, you're right. My weird problem of Steve Blackman versus Steve Blackman.
Wow.
They're blank slates to me right now. I don't get to watch the shows, so I don't have anything to fill in for their personalities right now.
Steve Blackman versus Steve Blackman?
You're right. Apologies to Steve Blackman.
God.
I'm mostly doing this to annoy you now.
What are you talking about? Our ratings are going through the roof for this. This is great. Oh, that's good pod.
Now that's what I call podcast.
Oh my God. Well, let's just move on to the next one. Now, this one,
yes,
I am lukewarm to.
Okay.
We got the chairman, Sean Spears.
Okay, yeah.
Versus Joey Janela.
Yeah, I didn't.
Go ahead.
No, I did. I kind of the same under. It's like I was sort of more into it because I like what they're trying to do with Sean Spears. Perfect 8, Sean Spears.
Perfect 8.
No, what did I say? No, when I was watching, it's like instead of perfect 10, Ty Dillinger, he's solid 8, Sean Spears.
Yeah. 7 3/4. That's.
No, he's got Tully. That bumps
he's
him
got
up.
Tully that bumps him to an 8. There you go. I mean, Tully's old, so he's only a quarter's worth. So.
But what that quarter he brought was great.
Man, that was old school. The go home on this is what sold me.
Absolutely.
As the spike pile driver onto the floor.
Tully helping with that spike was awesome.
Oh, what do you want, man?
I think I yelled out loud something to the effect of "That's fucking awesome."
Yeah, in fact, I did too. I believe.
You know what? There's something I love about, and not just the fact that it was Tully, but the fact that it was just like. This man, he's in a manager position. Sorry, he's in a manager position. He's out there, in his good clothes.
Yeah.
And then he jumps up on those steps and does a spike pile drive. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, because you're handling business.
Yeah.
For your number one star.
100%. I'm not sold on that hood that Sean Spears wore.
I'm not sold on the chairman gimmick.
I feel like you should lean into it more and play it less menacing figure in the corner and more like look Parka crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you can only be you can only be so menacing at 205 pounds. I mean,
also there was a lack of chair in the match.
There was a lack of chair
from the chairman. So I feel like on the losing end, he should have been more like, I'm going to grab it. Like they stop him, but he's like, I'm going to get a chair and do my thing.
Yeah. But no, that's now there was a couple fun things that happened. Sean Spears tied Joey Janela's hair.
That was the match this happened. And I think, did Tully distract or what? No, I think he just.
Well, that was the problem that I had with. That's why I couldn't. My ratings kept dropping because Hebner
should have seen that.
Hebner did see that. He was staring at him while he was like, "What you doing back there?"
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of argue that from the angle he couldn't really see what he was doing, but yeah, Hebner should have cottoned on to what was happening pretty quick.
I mean, he didn't even try to get him out of the corner or anything. He's like, "You tied his hair there to the tag rope."
The moment Janela jumped into the outside, the moment Janela jumped to the outside with his hair still tied, he should have seen that. Like, what the hell happened? And he should have been overdone. Tie it.
Right, like you do when people get caught in the ropes. Which that's something else I'm really looking forward to seeing because it's old school.
Yeah,
you don't see people getting caught in the ropes anymore.
Well, that's true. That's very true.
And it used to. I wouldn't say that it happened frequently, but it happened enough for it to be a factor.
Yes. Because wrestlers back then were wider and blockier, and
they were. That's it. Yeah, it's hard to get caught in the ropes when you're 205.
Yeah. I mean, this guy takes. The older guys take a weird tumble against the ropes, and they're basically like moose caught in a trap.
Right. I remember Harley Race used to do it a lot.
Yeah.
Andre did it a lot.
I think if you watch the documentary or if you listen to like Bobby Heenan interviews, he talked about how Andre loved that spot. Mm-hmm. It was like he was this big man in peril moment.
Yeah.
Because he's so big, you don't really get a lot of believable ones for big guys.
Yeah.
So tying up in the ropes, of course, he's big, he's heavy, and he leans too hard, and that rope gets wrapped around.
Yeah, and the psychology of that too was he's so big that it's hard for the ref to get him untangled because it's pulled all the elasticity out of it, and now you're just fighting with strength here, and
it's smart and subtle. And in a very good spot, which I'm going to come back to that for the Cody Jericho match.
Totally. This was a fair to Midland match, even though it did have some very memorable moments in it.
Yeah.
I went two.
And see I agree with that because also the Janela getting his hair tied thing and Hebner seeing it kind of plays into the end. Where it's kind of like that kind of drops the ball a little bit because the way they distract Hebner from the spike pile driver is he unties a different top turnbuckle pad on the other side.
Yes.
Hebner sees that and starts tying that back. And while he's doing that, or he just puts the pad back on, in that time, that's when Tully helps him with the spike.
Yeah.
And he gets the pin.
Yeah. No, it was good stuff. So we have Adam Page over Pac.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Sean Spears over Joey Janela to Rating Meltzer. Moving on. It's another good one here, man. We got SoCal Uncensored. Yes. In my mind, these three guys... This is tag team wrestling personified. SoCal, best tag team in the world right now. I used to argue, I was like, it's clearly the Young Bucks. And I would love to see the Young Bucks versus the Usos in my dream match. Mm-hmm. Now that's changed. I want to see SoCal Uncensored versus New Day.
Oh, God, yeah.
Can you imagine that 6-man tag? Skeet. Can you
imagine the shenanigans? Not just the great wrestling, but just the absolute shenanigans they'd pull on each other.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Let's go make this happen. We're gonna start our own Fed.
Okay.
So SoCal Uncensored versus... Boy, if I could talk, I'd be doing all right, huh?
You'd be dangerous.
SoCal Uncensored versus the Lucha Brothers versus Private Party.
Hell yeah. Private Party got new gear. I don't know when they did it from the last time I watched, but it looks a lot better.
It does.
With the entrance, with the velvet rope entrance.
Love the velvet ropes. That's good stuff, man.
Complete with the bouncer guy giving them fist bumps on the way in.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff. Which, the bouncer looks... Or at least at full gear, he looked suspiciously like Manny Fernandez.
Manny Fernandez?
Yeah, the Raging Bull. It was a long time ago, Chris. Don't worry, it's fine.
I'm asking because if you want to fill people in, you're welcome to.
Okay, clearly it wasn't.
Okay.
But it really, he had the mustache, he had the slick back hair. It kind of reminded me of Fernandez. That was something that I wanted to talk about the other week when I was on the podcast up in Lincoln with Jason and Mike. And it slipped my mind. There's always a lot going on up there.
Yeah.
And I never, I don't get to say everything I want. But no, this match was so good.
It was excellent, and it also highlights something that I like about AEW also over WWE, and that is the commentary isn't as forced.
No,
especially between JR and Excalibur. Mm-hmm. They have a good. They have at least they have at least passable, chemistry in WWE.
I think so.
They do well. The problem is they are being forced to constantly hammer home storylines instead of, but what JR and Excalibur specifically were allowed to do during this pay-per-view is let the story in the ring unfold, and interject and help it along, and not hammer home, or not overhype the points, whatever talking points they felt they should focus on.
I think they're given bullet points.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody's mic'd up in their ear.
I think that's a big thing, yeah.
Like Vince isn't talking to him from Gorilla.
No.
Or Tony Khan's not talking to him from Gorilla going, is like, get it, I need you to say this. And
I'm sure if they have something they need to get them to say, that they get it to them, and they drop it in there, but they let them have a flow.
Right.
And especially even because JR has that issue sometimes where, and not against him, it's just like, I think because of the palsy, where he'll mess up names. I think he's had an issue with that.
Yeah.
They played it off so perfectly whenever it happened.
Yeah.
And they would gently correct it.
JR, he's getting up there too.
He is. And they let him play it off when he realized he did it.
Yeah.
And it worked perfectly. And again, it felt like friendly banter. It didn't feel forced.
No.
When they were talking about things, also, I like the fact that they'll let them say what moves are known as in other places. Like they blatantly say the 619. They have hey, what did Bob Holly used to call this move?
Yeah.
And Excalibur eventually, the Alabama Slammer. Because every time I see that move, ever since Holly started doing it, I only know it as the Alabama
Slam. Yeah.
Yeah. They call out, they say blatantly, that's the Diamond Cutter. Yeah. I love that. It's like, yes, that's how you would know it. Let's acknowledge it.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to, and I love that. And in this match in particular, JR compliments a move that the Private Party does. I can't remember which one in particular, but he noted how it was like 3 to 5 generations of wrestling mixed into one move, and he complimented it that way.
Oh, see, now I want to go back and look.
I can't remember which move it was, but he showed off. But he explained it's like it was a combination of blank, blank, and blank, and he's like, that's like 3 generations of wrestling in one move, and it's like, that's cool. That's cool to know.
Yeah.
That's cool to hear. Sadly, you will not hear that in a WWE broadcast.
No, because you got Renee Young and you like Corey. You got Corey Graves, who I happen to like. Yeah. But look, it's a wrestling connoisseur. He is not.
Right. They'll be like, "Whoa, that was a move," and true. Yeah. But to hear knowledge behind that's amazing, and you should know why.
There you go. There it is.
And compliment, and JR is talking up how. I'm sorry. I'm pointing. I'm not just pointing to make a point. There's no one out there. Like how private party is like he talks them up like they're clearly students of the game if they know to combine that stuff together.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great match.
And heel or face is like, I think it felt less like I'm trying to think, like weird NFL studio commentary and more like, this is cool. What heel or face, what this guy's doing is awesome, and they put in the work.
Yeah. No, absolutely. This was a fantastic match. I gave this a solid 3 Meltzers.
Absolutely.
And SoCal Uncensored retains their title.
I did not know the Lucha Brothers had gone heel since the last time I saw them. They essentially they kind of cement it with this match when they attack after the bell.
Yeah.
Like they were.
My microphone's running all over the place.
It's trying to escape.
Sorry. Go ahead.
They attack after the bell after SCU retains.
Mm-hmm. And then we have another member of Lucha Brother run.
It was a duplicate.
Yeah. And
it was Ray Phoenix.
It was another Ray Phoenix.
And then another doink showed up.
And they stared at each other for a minute. And then he pulls his mask off, and it is the fallen angel Christopher Daniels. Whoa! And
My initial thought, because I forgot, I didn't realize Crystal, was he injured or?
he was injured.
Okay.
He got injured maybe 3 weeks before that pay-per-view.
I didn't know that until he pulled the mask off. For a second, I thought they were going to go with an angle of, like, since the Lucha Brothers were acting more heelish, that maybe the real Lucha Brothers were showing up.
Yeah.
That was my initial thought. Like these guys had come in and pretended to be them. But
Which, honestly, this is going to bring me on a tangent.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard in the rumor mill that WWE is going to be releasing some people soon. And Sin Cara is on the chopping block. Now, here's the thing.
yes,
The Sin Cara that's wrestling now ain't the real Sin Cara.
Right.
The real Sin Cara got fired 3 months after his debut 5-6 years ago.
because he couldn't stop botching, right?
No, yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. And but WWE retained the rights to Sin Cara.
Interesting.
Because that was the name that's really all they wanted in the first place was the name, because the name is huge in Mexico. As if you're gonna fire Sin Cara, I just thought about this as if you don't like that Sin Cara, why don't you just let him go? And you got a lot of talent there. Why not start an army of Sin Caras and just have Sin Cara number 7, Sin Cara number 15?
Go Sin Cara Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, at this point,
well, I mean,
I realize that it's cheesy and it's very Blue Blazer-esque, from back in the day, but but at this point, what's it gonna hurt?
I mean, they tried for a while to have the Sin Cara versus Evil Sin Cara thing.
Yeah, and well, why not? Just do it. But anyway, yeah, that
would just be too wacky for WWE.
Yeah, clearly there's. So next up, we have the women's AEW Championship match. This is.
I like the fact that Riho is so tiny that they had to go to the classic women's belt style for her.
Yeah, they did. And it's still too big.
It is still too big.
Have you seen the flap of that belt when she puts it on? I mean, dude, there's this. I mean, just it looks like Riho has grown a tail.
For listeners, since this is not a visual medium, Doggz indicated most of his forearm as being the remainder of the belt flap from when she tightens that belt around her waist. He's not wrong. She teeny.
Yeah, she's wee, and they bill her at what, 105,
98.
98.
They said
ass.
They said it several times during the match.
And she weighs 60 pounds.
They talk about how she started learning wrestling at 9, and I think that's when her puberty ended, apparently.
Well, she takes.
I say this knowing full well she could kick my ass. She could. No. Unless she knocked me unconscious and I fell on her.
Maybe if you laid down and go to sleep.
No, she'd kick my. I have no doubt she'd kick my ass.
She start wrenching on your pinky. You wake up and say, "Get away from me, you wiener dog!" And
no, she'd kick my ass. I'm pretty sure.
Well, she takes on. How do you pronounce the name?
Emi Sakura.
Emi Sakura.
Her mentor, actually. They make a big point of pointing out that's her mentor. And that they've wrestled many times.
I didn't like this match.
You didn't like it?
I didn't like it.
They wrestled distinctly, I think, the Japanese style.
Well, they did and they didn't.
Yeah. But it was the I can see why, because I noticed the tempo of the match was very slow build to an end flurry, and then there was a decisive ending.
The go home was great. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing in my world that kept me from giving this a 0.
I liked it. I thought it was fun.
Well, I mean, you're not alone. I had a talk with some of the folks up in Lincoln, and they seemed to like it too.
I enjoyed it. I think the only thing that was really overdone was Riho relying on the chest stomp.
Yeah,
but then again, as pointed out,
not 60 pounds.
She's light enough that, I mean, I guess that's something they could roll back to.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Finn Balor does that too. So
yeah, but I would believe Finn Balor could crack a chest doing that.
Right.
He could break a solar plexus or something.
My biggest problem with this match is the spot. It was so spotty, and they took a ridiculous amount of time to get to those spots.
Yeah.
Sakura,
I think Sakura, yeah, how they pronounce it, yeah,
was pandering up a storm. Like, she was pandering while, and Riho's over there is like waiting on her spot, and it's not just all Sakura. It was on Riho too, because man, she would climb it took her I know you have to have a dramatic effect to climb the top ropes.
Right.
You're tired.
Right.
God, it took way too long for her to get up to that top rope.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, just too much. And I'm just going to say it again. I know that we are in the time of the small person can make it in wrestling nowadays, and that's fine. I agree. There still is such a thing as too small.
Yeah.
I think Riho's too small.
There is a level of suspension of disbelief that you go into wrestling with. Because of the theatrics, because of... I like to point out, there are certain moves that require the help of the other person to do, and it's just like... But if it's cool enough, you don't care.
Yeah.
Riho is... Well, for the Spanish listeners, she's muy pequeño.
Muy pequeño.
Man... And Emi Sakura, I'm guessing as they pointed out, they have had a lot of matches together. Mm-hmm. She has done her best to make sure to make Riho look like a Goliath beater, a giant killer.
Mm-hmm.
But I still don't quite buy it.
Well, there's that. There's a lot. Sakura, way too much pandering. Riho, not enough weight.
Sakura, I did really enjoy. She countered Riho, a big move from Riho, just effortlessly, and it just made me laugh.
Which one was that?
I cannot remember right off the top of my head, but there's just a counter she did to one of her moves that just made me laugh so hard. Just like a gotcha bitch moment.
Also, I'm going to say this. Sakura comes out with the half a microphone and the Freddie Mercury gig that she's doing. And she's trying to get everybody to do the
stomp, stomp, clap. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
something you can't really do unless the crowd's seen more of you.
Yeah. And the crowd... The crowd wasn't into it.
The crowd got into it as it went on.
A little bit, but not a ton.
No.
Like they were behind her.
But they did give them their due because there were a few crowd chants for it.
Yeah. And look, you can't come out with half a microphone stand if somebody else has already come out with half a microphone stand. That is SoCal Uncensored's gimmick. Now,
it is.
You can't do that. I don't care who you're trying to portray. No. 1 half mic per show. That's it. Now, like I said, the go home was incredible. This series of chain wrestling pin attempts that was very impressive. Fastest they moved during this whole match. I gave this match a 1.5 Meltzer simply because of the go home.
Okay.
And Riho retains her championship once again. Who's gonna beat this tiny baby?
You mean the magic doll that came to life?
I know what I said.
I just based on size and what she was wearing, she looks like one of those giant doll. I saw some in CVS. These giant, like almost like life-size dolls.
Oh yeah,
given life, like the blue fairy popped in, went boink.
Yeah, female Pinocchio. That's what's happening. That's
Rinocchio.
Rihokio. Rihokio. That's it.
You be nice. She's a real girl.
That's her name now. You know that. That's her name.
Okay, but I will say I was legitimately touched by the show of respect they had at the end.
Well, when you wish upon a star, man.
God.
Moving into the championship rounds of this fantastic pay-per-view.
That's right. We are in the... Oh, God. Okay.
We are there, man.
Oh, man.
These
matches.
have
I
Cody.
deeply regret not being able to watch it with the crowd because by everything David described, it was absolutely what you wanted when they were watching.
Hensley came in and sat down like as this was going on.
Yeah.
And so we have Cody challenging Le Champion, Chris Jericho.
Which surprised me. I didn't think he was from Montreal.
Those Quebecers. Anything better than fishing in Quebec.
So this match.
God, what a match. This was...
And they built up to it during the show. They played video packages with interviews from like Cody's mom. Oh, they had one that was like about Cody, and it was like his wife and his mom and MJF giving a quick little talking head segments.
Yeah. Oh, it was there was some good stuff, and they've built this very well.
They showed the contract signing it must have been near Halloween because Jericho was wearing the David S. Pumpkins suit.
In fact, I want to say it was it was the day before Halloween.
That's right, because Halloween was a Thursday. Yep.
And he held when they were doing the contract signing, Jericho holds up the pin. Is like you just made the list.
Yeah.
That clicks it and. Oh, my God, that was so good. There was also something that you had missed. There was a vignette that they had done the Wednesday on Dynamite before where they were just like, hey, look, we're going to do a vignette for Chris Jericho. And it was the Inner Circle that did it. And Sammy Guevara's there. And he walks up to him. He says, hey, I got some bubbly for you. Which one would you like? And he picks one. And he's like, hey, Chris Jericho's like a father to me. He's taught me so much and everything. And he keeps going on and on and on and on. And then he said, at one point, he said, Chris Jericho, he's made history. Did you know he is the youngest AEW champion? That checks out.
That's great because you can insert any. He's the blankest in AEW champion.
Yeah. Oh, and there was just so many good things there. But you know what? It's not all just humor and fun stuff.
Right.
This match was exceptional.
Yes, from a technical and a storyline perspective.
I mean, wrestling psychology at its finest. And they didn't, they didn't have to keep it on the ground to tell the story. They took to the air a couple of times. Even Chris Jericho's fat ass got up there a couple of times.
Hey.
He's a little bit of the bubbly. I mean,
after the years he's put in, I'm not surprised.
he looks like me.
He did all his high flying, and he made it good while he could.
Yes, he did.
Specifically, as we invoke the ringside judges.
Oh, yeah, and how about those ringside judges?
The ringside judges were there in case it went to time limit.
Right, and how good is that? That's because it made me think right off the bat.
They might go all the way.
We're going we're for them to announce them. We're going to a time limit draw here.
And who did they have as the judges, Doggz?
Well, we started out with one of Jericho's favorite opponents. Back from WCW, the man of 1,000 holds, Dean Malenko.
Dino Machino.
Yes.
I will tell you something very important about Dean Malenko and Chris Jericho. When I first got into it, it was around the time they were in the middle of their feud, and that was one of the things that really hooked me about it. Their feud for the Cruiserweight title.
Yes.
Including the point where Dean Malenko dressed up as Cyclope in a Cruiserweight Battle Royal to win the right to face Jericho. Mm-hmm. That was one of my favorite moments in wrestling when he rips off the mask and it's Dean Malenko.
Yeah. And then Jericho started saying that he was
the man of 1,004 holds, including an amazing segment on Nitro where he stands in the middle of the ring and lists off all the moves he knows, a third of which were armbar. To the point where he's doing this, it cuts to commercial.
Yeah.
It comes back from commercial. He's still in the ring doing it.
Man, it was...
Someone has to chase him off.
It was so good. God, man.
It is a classic, and it has to be on YouTube. You have to look for it.
And something else. Me and the wife were talking about this the other night. How many wrestlers can you think of that have as many catchphrases as Chris Jericho has invented on the fly?
Absolutely.
I mean, taking it back to WCW with the rock and roll, the Ayatollah of rock and rolla.
Yep.
You will never ever beat me again.
Yes,
and God, there were 1,004 holds.
Yeah.
There were so many, and that's just WCW. Then we move into WWF, and then we have Raw is Jericho.
Yep.
And Jerichoholics.
Well, that had followed in WCW when he did Monday Night Jericho.
Monday Night Jericho. That's right. Yeah. And it just keeps going. Now he's at the end of his career, and he's still pulling them out weekly with a little bit of the bubbly.
Yep.
I've got a ticket. What else did he say that got me? Anyway, he had another one. It was so much.
Yeah.
Well, this.
Hold on. We got to Dean Malenko. Then the second.
Oh, I'm sorry, boy. I got off.
That's fine.
Tangent there.
It's easy to do. I mean, talking about all this good stuff.
Our second one.
Our second guest.
Double A.
Yep.
The Enforcer, Arn Anderson. Who better to be a judge? Who better, I ask you? Nobody. Well, there is one.
There is one more.
And that would be the Great Muda. Oh, my God. Just him sitting there, dude.
Yep.
Could he not have gotten in the ring and I mean,
it's just
I don't care if he's face heel what he could have hit somebody.
It's just so great to see him enjoying retirement.
I know, and he looked sleepy.
A little.
I mean, it's just
no. He had his game face on. He was there.
Yeah, that's right. It was a straight poker face, or he was just tired. It was a long flight. And
I mean, understandably. That's like a 16-hour flight.
Yeah. I'm going home right after this.
But they were introduced. They were there to just in case. They were,
Yeah.
And they made a great point. It's like it's not a point system. It's how they feel the match went.
Right.
It's like they'll call it as they feel.
Yeah.
On top of that, it was like a 30-minute time limit. Mm-hmm. It was like
now we start out. Things are going really good.
And the stipulation is,
if Cody loses,
he cannot challenge for the AEW title again.
Exactly. And he agreed to it, which is funny because that was that was something that was a stipulation that was done on NWA Power just maybe 6 weeks ago. But neither here nor there.
Also coming into the ring, they each have cornermen.
They do.
Jericho has, his name is escaping me right now. Is it Hager?
James, or as
James.
Jericho calls it, James Hagar.
Yeah, James Hagar. And unfortunately, due to an attack on his brother, Dustin isn't out there with Cody.
Yeah.
MJF accompanies him.
Maxwell Jacob Freeman. Thank you.
Majif.
So this match starts. Now, we start off pretty good.
Yeah.
Things are moving along nicely. We're telling some stories. This is going well.
They point out that Jericho is also wearing a weight belt to mock Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Emblazoned with Le Champion. Mm-hmm. Again, that's pointing out, that's good commentary. Excellent commentary. They're pointing out subtle things that people might have missed, just to point out and make sure you know how they're trying to work and get into each other's heads.
Right. Now, here we have the bad.
Okay.
So Jericho gets tossed.
Right.
Cody goes to do a topico out of the ring.
Right.
Now, I don't know. I went back and watched this. I don't know exactly what his plan was, but he scorpioned on that rail on the ramp.
I don't know how. I feel like he just forgot to put his arms up right. Or something. Or maybe he just tried to tough it out. I don't know, but he straight up did a scorpion. Yeah.
And hard weighed wide open.
Yeah. See, that ramp is not only, is it metal? Mm-hmm. It's metal, and it's that type of metal where it has a tread on it.
Yeah. And that's something else. This was the old school 90s ramp.
Yeah. Like, this is the kind of thing, WCW Nitro had this kind of ramp. They did for a while, but for most of the time, that ramp was like flush to the ground. It wasn't raised like that one.
Right.
It was, they would do things on it, but that one was like that, but it was raised up to meet the ring side. Right.
And see, this was a thing that they used to do.
Yeah.
Just before Monday Nitro before the era of Monday Night Nitro.
Right.
They were, I want to say Bill Watts was running it, but I'm not sure about that. That's whatever era it was is when they started having the ramp.
Yes.
Which I never was a real big fan of. Mm-hmm. Because I thought the ramp gets in your way when you're trying to run around the ring.
Yeah,
and I was never a big fan of that, just watching it, because you can only go so far. But seeing it here and seeing that ramp back, I was a fan of it. I became a fan again, so it was nice to see it.
My one guess is either he meant to just take it, or he maybe misjudged how quickly it was going to come up to him, considering how high it was.
I think he
just took it.
I think he just hard-weighed.
Yeah, I think he just flung himself because he knew Jericho was going to move.
Yeah,
and he was just like, "It'll make it look better." I just think he didn't account for the tread.
I'm not sure that he. I'm not sure. I don't know, man. I don't know why he took the bump that way. But, I mean, it was very dangerous. And thank God that ramp was there, because if it had been...
Did he concuss himself? Because I would be surprised.
I have not heard any updates on it.
I would be surprised if he didn't. I would surely, hopefully he feels blessed if he didn't.
Yeah.
Because after that point in the match, there is a triangle-shaped divot in his head.
Yeah.
Above his left eye or right eye?
I don't remember.
I think it's his left eye.
Yeah.
But I do want to point something out. They did a dive through the rope spot that preceded this.
Yeah.
And I just want to point out how subtly well they set that up. Mm-hmm. Talking about in-ring storytelling. Mm-hmm. I forget why, but before they do that move, Jericho powders out to the ringside.
Right.
And he's basically just feeling like being an aggressive jerk and, just stomping around the ring. He walks over to the barricade, the railing mm-hmm. barricade where the fans are, and he yanks it. Mm-hmm. And he yanks it out like he's like, fuck. He's like, fuck. He's mad. He's upset. Yeah. And he follows that up by stomping over to the judges and trying to start something with Dean Malenko.
Yeah, like you would.
Yeah, he's just stomping around. He's hot. He's angry. He's like yanking things just to prove, to be a big man. He rolls back in the ring. He gets thrown. He gets back out again. Or I think before he gets back in, Cody surprises him with a dive through the ropes.
Right. Into
that railing that he pulled out.
Right.
He knew, without making it obvious, he pulled that railing out because he knew he'd need something to collide in.
He's going to set up his own spot.
Yep. So they'd have something to collide in, and it wouldn't push into the fans.
It's little things.
I had
like
to rewind.
That.
It took me a few seconds to realize that and rewind a little bit. I was like, "That's brilliant. That's amazing, and it's brilliant."
Yeah. That's a man that knows his craft.
Yeah.
And
that's something you don't get to appreciate too often.
Right, because you don't see that in WWE. It is clearly a setup.
They get a little sloppy sometimes.
Because they're also under time limits. There's only so many things they can't do.
They're I think they get rushed too often in WWE.
They do.
Because they want this tight electric show. They've stopped believing in letting the wrestling do the work.
Mm-hmm. Which is not what happened here. This match was absolutely fantastic. You want to talk to us about the go home?
The go home. Now, there were after just a full match of just walloping each other and working each other back and forth mentally and physically. Jericho finally, I think Cody tries I forget what move Cody tries, but he
was trying to do the crossroads.
That's right.
And he caught him.
And he flipped him into the Lion Tamer.
Yeah. Well, it was the Walls of Jericho. He transitioned it to the Lion Tamer.
That's right. The first one was Walls of Jericho, which is just
which that's just nerd shit. It's a Boston crab.
It's a Boston. It's
all a Boston crab.
Basically the Walls of Jericho became just that to make it easier on people. Mm-hmm. Because it's just he's sitting down really low on a Boston crab.
Yeah.
Like the legs are pulled up and he's squatting really hard down, so it looks like it's way, way worse. And
at one point, I've only seen somebody get down that low on a Boston crab just a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, he was sitting on him.
Yeah. And Cody struggles out of that. Mm-hmm. And then I forget the sequence that follows, but it ends up with Jericho managing to lock in the Lion Tamer, the old school, where he has it. It's a high angled one and it's on the neck.
Yeah,
which that's what he used to use in WCW, and it's like it's painful and it looks really, really damaging on the neck because it looks like it's at an obscene angle, like he pushes too hard and a neck is gonna snap.
Yeah.
And
it goes on for a long time.
Cody is fighting it. MJF. Now, Hager got ejected for interjecting in the match.
That's true.
Earlier on. He got tossed. I think this is the one where I'll talk about. The ref is Aubrey. What's it?
Is this Aubrey? I think it is Aubrey.
It is Aubrey. Because I don't know how much it played. Okay, this is where some of the ref interaction was bad.
I'm coming around on Aubrey.
She did fine. I just don't. They need to let her. I think it played well with Jericho, whereas like he thinks he tries to boss her around, and she pushes back. He's like,
yeah.
But yeah, I think there were times when she looked entirely too sheepish. to interject when she should have, and JR even says as much at some points.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about JR. He's not afraid to notice and talk about the things that the fans would obviously notice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which they would normally gloss over, and like a WWE or Vince would say, "Don't talk about that," or tell him to ignore it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he will say and point out things like because he understands what fans would look at and go, "Well, what's going on there?"
And that's what I'm loving about our JR, man.
Yeah. And so it gets to a point where he's got that lion tamer locked in. Haker's been ejected because he tried to pull shit off during the match, and he did a little bit. But MJF is still there, and he's watching his guy.
And Cody tapped.
Cody did tap?
No, I'm asking.
No, he didn't.
What?
No, Cody didn't tap. He was still fine. No.
He passed out from the pain.
No, he was still awake. He was still conscious. No. MJF,
for that long?
Yeah, MJF. But MJF was worried, and JR noted he grabbed the towel. And he watched Cody Cody was still trying to get his way out of it, but MJF threw in the towel to stop the match.
What? Oh my God. The last time that we saw anybody throw in the towel.
Yeah.
When was the last time that we saw that? I honestly...
Didn't it happen in WWE a little while ago?
I can't...
There was something. I remember it happening, but not recently.
The last time I vividly remember it happening was it was late 90s. Maybe mid 90s.
It happened recently. It happened more recently than that.
I'm sure it did.
I can't remember the circumstances though. But yes, MJF throws in the towel for Cody. Jericho's declared the winner.
Yeah. Le Champion.
Yep. He goes up. He leaves, and Cody is in the ring with MJF.
So then what happened? They shook hands.
Well, they went to Cody was, I think MJF and Cody were about to console and talk about it.
Yeah.
Then MJF kicked him in the nuts.
And that is why MJF is the man.
Now let me tell you, I'm going to say it. I knew MJF was going to betray Cody. I knew.
I think everybody knew that it was going to happen, and I think most people knew it was going to happen that night.
But what's great is they tipped it without telegraphing it.
Right.
And I'll tell you, see, here's how I figured it out without having seen anything leading up to it. Mm-hmm. One, having seen enough previously, I saw how they were pivoting Cody to be a face. Mm-hmm. But MJF is still MJF, and he is an unrelenting jackass.
Yeah.
So even though people were on Cody's side, MJF was still MJF. The video package leading up where I mentioned all the talking heads earlier. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Everyone else talked up Cody, but what MJF said, his line in particular, I went back and listened to it again because I wanted to talk about it. He said, he's the face of the company, but not the champion.
Yeah.
Now, that sounds like something on his side. But when you think about it, it's a statement and not like something like, if you wanted to be more face-like, you would say, he's the face of the company. Why shouldn't he be the champion?
Yeah.
Or why isn't he the champion? Exactly. You would phrase it in a way that sounds like, hey, yeah, he should go for the belt. This should be his belt.
Yeah.
But he said a statement that was judgmental, an accusation, and that's the greatness of MJF. It was very subtle, because he was in his own way saying he's the face of the company, but not the champion.
Right.
Like, if he's supposed to be so great, why isn't he at the top spot?
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, man.
And that was the point where I think I said out loud, I think when I realized he was the corner guy, and I put the clues together about, Dustin was hurt and he's supposed to be there, but MJF is there instead. I was like, when he came out and I saw him, I was like, okay, he's betraying him.
Yeah.
That was the moment where I was like, okay, I didn't know how. I didn't know how it was going to go down. But the way it happened is even greater than I thought, because he took Cody's chance away from him.
Yeah. Which means...
Yes.
Because technically, I mean, by all standards, Cody did lose.
Right.
But MJF stopped the match.
Exactly. He took it away from Cody.
Yeah.
It was his call. He made it his call, and he found a way to like he clearly doesn't think he deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was absolutely perfect in execution and perfect for MJF.
I agree.
It was brilliantly done.
Mm-hmm.
And it was exceptional to see it play out. When you think about it,
Yeah.
it was exceptional. I can't applaud them anymore for how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
And
5 Meltzers all the way.
100%.
Well, that's the end of our pay-per-view.
Wait a minute, Doggz.
What?
That's the end of the sanctioned regulated matches.
That's right.
I'm sorry. Were you not aware that there is an unsanctioned match happening
I just remembered.
outside the purview of AEW regulations?
Which is something else they actually did, and I've only seen this just a couple of times. They had to do their non-sanctioned match, which they said, this is the end of the pay-per-view. And then they turned the lights out. And then they turned them back on. Now that's something they used to do back in the day when when they did unsanctioned matches.
Yes.
And I've only seen it just maybe 2 or 3 times. Mm-hmm. There's this is the end of the show as you know it.
Right.
So
Wink,
now,
wink.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I'm just going to preface this with, if you've ever read Mick Foley's book about and read about his adventures in Japan, you would know that the Japanese enjoy a little something called straight up death matches. This may be the closest that an American company has gone to simulate them, at least for like a major promotion.
I tend to agree.
Yes. I mean, it's clear where they had to cut out some of the more gruesome stuff, but oh my God, this match was so much fun. And this is why I'm sad I could not be in that crowd, because I heard about the reactions. I heard.
Yeah. Because the Americans that are into this now, they don't know.
They don't know.
And the young group coming up, they know nothing of ECW. Mm-hmm. So this was, if all they knew was WWE Extreme Rules.
And that was one of my favorite parts of this match, because, it just so happened to be women, but 3 different times during this match, they cut to find the person most horrified by what was happening in the crowd. And it was not to stereotype, but if I had to describe what a Facebook mom looked like, they managed to pick one every time with a horrified, not so much shocked face, but like face, and as they watched 2 men destroy each other. And
they started right out of the gate.
100%.
I mean they hit the ground running.
Moxley immediately. Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
This match is between Jon Moxley,
yes,
formerly Dean Ambrose, for those who did not know,
and Kenny Omega.
Oh my God! Both men who also made their bones in Japan.
Oh, without question.
Yep. And
Moxley,
they showed it off tonight.
Former, what title did he get?
I'm not sure.
Was it a North? For some reason, and I don't know why I'm thinking this, but for some reason, was it an Intercontinental Championship?
I don't know.
Whatever. He won a title in New Japan and recently, and then lost it.
And Omega worked in Japan for years.
Yeah,
years and years.
Was it the ICW heavyweight title?
IWGP or
IWGP? I'm sorry. But yeah. So just we hit the ground running, just
absolutely
bang, bang, bang.
Like they were like 2 moves in. Moxley dove out to ringside.
Yeah.
What did he say? I forgot. It involved the phrase "motherfucker."
Yeah,
because Excalibur's response was, "I can't repeat what he said, but I understand the sentiment."
And that we started using chairs. we started using the guardrail.
Yep.
And when that wasn't enough, he grabbed a ice pick.
Yeah, that was later. Oh my God! There was we really started going strong with the razor wire bat.
Oh, that's right. He pulls out the razor wire bat.
Yep.
Omega pulls out the razor wire broom because he was the sweeper in New Japan.
Oh my God.
Or the cleaner.
Oh my God. Yeah, and he proceeds to sweep.
Yes, he did.
To sweep across Moxley's back a few times with the broom. Moxley gets... there was a great spot where Omega had Moxley in a hold from behind, and Moxley got free by taking the bat and raking it across the arm.
Yeah.
As they slowly just started bleeding out more and more.
Oh, man.
At one point, Moxley got tagged in the back of the head with the bat because he had to stop and sit for a minute and scream in agony.
Yeah.
And then they had their less dangerous version of the C4 board.
Yeah, a bunch of mouse traps.
Well, I think they've done that before in Japan too, but it's like
they have.
It's the nicer version of a C4 board.
It's more of a CZW type hardcore
I know
stuff.
They would also wrap those in barbed wire too. Mm-hmm. But if anyone doesn't know, the C4 board, it's not. I don't think it's actually C4.
No.
But it's called that because there's just little pouches of bits. When you got slammed onto them, they exploded. Now they fucking hurt.
Yeah.
But they're not C4. But it's a C. Yeah, it was called a C4 board.
But yeah, so that's the only thing about this match that I wasn't crazy about is the gimmicked hardcore stuff, the mouse traps, the practice ring of barbed wire.
Okay, but I mean, like I said before, it's as close as you're going to get to a true death match.
I agree.
In Japan. There was Chekhov's table.
Yes, there was.
Was it Omega or Moxley who set that up? They tilted it against one of the railings at ringside, and Moxley ended up going through it.
Right.
I remember the statement now. Moxley got out of the ring. He's like, "It's time for some motherfucking garbage wrestling," or something at that.
Oh, that's what he said.
You
Yeah,
want
yeah.
some garbage? It's time for some motherfucking garbage.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
And because everybody's been screaming about garbage wrestling.
Yeah.
And which, I don't know how I feel about people saying that. I guess, to each their own.
Right.
I think hardcore wrestling, because of ECW, now has a place in the wrestling world.
Absolutely.
That's another reason that I love AEW and I love their pay-per-views so much, because we have a beautiful bouquet of everything.
100%.
I love the fact that I just use the word bouquet when I'm talking about razor wire, broken glass. And
it makes perfect sense. This is an unsanctioned match.
Yeah.
This is where you would put the quote-unquote garbage match.
Right.
Speaking of glass, Kenny Omega brought out broken glass, dumped it in the ring, stomped the bag to make sure it broke up more, and they proceeded to slam each other on it a couple.
Took a piece of that glass, got the between the fingers,
the worst paper cut. And that's not even counting. Omega puts Moxley in, I forget which submission it was. Was it just a crab?
No, it wasn't a crab. It was
a sharpshooter. Scorpion, because they debated whether you would call it the Scorpion Deathlock or the sharpshooter.
Yeah.
But Moxley had to die hard his way across the glass to pull himself up to the ropes. Now,
before that, Omega took some of the glass and shoved it in his mouth.
Yes, that's right. I forgot that part.
That's right.
He shoved it in his mouth. Now, Moxley crawled to the ropes, but that wasn't to free himself because, again, lights out match, no rules. That's not a break. He had to pull himself up for leverage to get out of the move.
Yeah.
And then gets his mouth kicked with glass in it.
Right.
That's when Omega gets the ice pick and Abdullah the butchers him.
Yeah.
He just carves across the forehead. and they fight their way up the ramp. They're still going. They're still going.
This match went so long. This match went like 38 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because they started by going around rings, like through the fans. Mm-hmm. Moxley had 2 to 3 different beers thrown on him. Yeah. Fans just offered them up and just like.
I'll be honest though. I'll bet when you're out there wrestling and you don't have a shirt on and you're bleeding.
Yeah.
I'll bet that beer probably feels pretty good.
I don't know that I could say that because with everything that's in beer, I'm betting it stinks.
I don't know.
I bet it's like 50-50.
Yeah, might be.
Because depending on what's in the drink, hitting an open wound is probably going to hurt in some way.
Yeah, that's true.
But again, these guys, I think that was a little bit before, but these guys, razor wire doesn't tear like barbed wire does.
Right.
Like barbed wire will get in you in bed and pull out chunks because it's barbed. Razor wire is thinner. It's gonna slice you up. And as the match went on, it became more and more apparent how bad it was.
Yeah.
And they fight their way up the ramp, and that's when Kenny gets the ice pick. After that, they are fighting. They are almost like freaking dead. And the Young Bucks come out. And Page, Hangman Adam Page,
and they kind of did a little referee Hell in the Cell spot. Kenny, what are you doing?
Because he's like, bring it out. And he's like, no, we should not do this. And he's
this is not you.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, that moment.
That was a spot.
I'm sure.
They were
trying to beg off. He wanted to bring out his big surprise.
Yeah.
And they were like, don't make us do it. And he's like, bring it. So they do. And it is the box of razor wire.
Yeah.
It is like it's like a big box.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looked like it was a 10 by 10 practice ring.
Yes.
It was like a practice ring, wrestling ring frame.
Yes. Entirely laced with razor wire.
Yeah.
And
now, to be fair,
yes,
it was gimmicked.
Yes, of course.
Because
otherwise they would have been cut to ribbons.
Yeah.
Because again, the razor wire is no joke.
Yeah.
It is basically like a metal paper cut.
Mm-hmm.
It will rip you up. Like the thing is, like once you're on it, it'll rip you open.
Oh yeah.
So I believe Omega's the one who suplexed.
Well, there was like I was like, I'm gonna throw you in. No, I'm gonna throw you in, and then he ends up suplexing him.
Yeah, and suplexing. Moxley goes in first, but they both end up in that bed.
Yeah.
To the point where Crew had to run out and carefully pick them out of it.
Which did kind of kill the momentum a little bit. Took a little while.
Slightly. It was the moment you think, oh, they're going to stop this.
Yeah.
But no. Both of these men proceed to get up. Moxley assaulting a guy who looked suspiciously like Robert Bradford to me. Punched him for daring to get him out of the box, I guess.
That'll learn you.
They fight some more, and it ends with, and that particular incident ends with Omega V-triggering Moxley through a Full Gear logo into a spotlight.
Yeah.
Both of these men are dead again.
Yeah.
They struggle to their feet eventually.
Back to the ring.
Moxley downs Omega long enough to go outside.
Grab some scissors, and now as when we grab scissors, I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Okay. No.
What's he driving those into? Well, what he ends up driving them into are the straps holding the ring pad in place.
Mm-hmm.
He proceeds to pull up the ring canvas, the foam pad underneath, and exposes the wood slats.
Yeah.
That if you ever had any doubt that these men were just taking risks doing basic matches, here you go. That's what they're wrestling on.
Mm-hmm. And I think he goes to hit him with the
paradigm shift.
There you go. And he counters, hits him with the double arm DDT.
Yes. Omega hits him with the paradigm shift.
Oh, that's right. He did, yeah.
And then there's, I forget the other move, but Moxley cracks Omega down on the wood and gets the pin.
Dirty Deeds, I think is what they called it in WWE. I don't know what they're calling it here.
Yeah, he gets him with it, and he gets the pin.
Yeah. 1, 2,
Hellacious.
3.
Hellacious.
4.5 Meltzers.
100%.
There's a lot of people that are going, garbage wrestling, durga. And it's like, okay, you don't like it, that's fine. Look, this was a good match, man.
It was a great match.
It held my interest the entire time, entertained me.
Yeah.
Great.
Now, compare that to Extreme Rules, where the entire point of those matches are ostensibly the same. Mm-hmm. They have the same kind of lack of limits. Mm-hmm. And what do we see there?
No, it's not even comparable, Chris.
No, it's not.
We can't.
We see some chairs, we see some tables, we see some Singapore canes.
They need to change.
Kendo sticks, excuse me.
They don't need to do Extreme Rules anymore.
They don't.
Not after that match.
No, they do not.
I mean,
between that and the Cracker Barrel Invitational, I think AEW has it on lockdown.
I think they've got the only thing that I think they need work on is their women's division.
Definitely.
Their women's division is rough. But yeah, I would. Other than that, I think they have.
How can you call that garbage wrestling when it looks so much better than what than what WWE calls hardcore?
Right. I mean, it's.
That's how you make it an art. Right. And just imagine if this were full death match, those men would have been soaked in blood. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought nobody gigged themselves.
No.
I mean, it was just it was a good match.
It was satisfying to see in a major promotion again.
Yeah. 4.5.
The lack of fear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The trust in their wrestlers.
Yeah.
To say you've got the experience, to give them the reins and say go for it.
Now children are watching this, but they're also
nightmares.
but these kids are also watching this expecting to see something too.
Exactly.
Do what you got to do.
Here's the thing: is I think the AEW is we cater to you, but don't forget this is wrestling.
Right. It's the PG era is over.
Kids aren't first, and I think
because
to WWE that is a major priority.
Sure.
To AEW, it's we want everyone.
Yeah.
And we're going to alienate some people by going a little harder, but we're still going to get the majority.
Exactly.
As evidenced by Moxley enjoying his victory by just throwing the fingers up.
Yeah.
Something they've just let that go uncensored, and I like that.
I absolutely loved this pay-per-view.
Yes.
I gave this whole thing a solid 4.5.
Absolutely.
That's couldn't have been much better. Now, this is where things are going to get difficult. Uh-huh. Because we got to pick a workhorse now.
Oh, God.
Yeah. No.
That's not fair.
Yeah, I know, right? Now, if you were going to pick a workhorse of the night, someone that put this pay-per-view on their back and handled it, who you going to pick?
Fuck. All right. Oh my God.
See, this is where it gets tough, man.
I'm not playing it up. I'm genuinely struggling right now to figure out.
And you knew I was going to ask you. Yes. That's the thing. I ask you every show.
Yes. This is not a surprise question.
No. For me, and I hate to do it, but the lead guy in this is Cody. For me.
He's right up there. I wanted to say him or Moxley.
I can go Moxley, yeah.
Because I loved Omega's work there, but Moxley was. Really, he took so much of the brunt. Yeah, and sold it so hard. And
I'll tell you somebody else, another dark horse in the running.
Yeah.
Ortiz. is
I was gonna
damn good.
My mind immediately flashed to the opening tag match. I could easily make a case for that match being the workhorse.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still sticking with Cody, but when I was thinking about it last week, I was like, I could go with Cody or I could go with Ortiz.
As a single, I think Cody may edge out everyone to be expected. Overall, I could say that the matches at the end were stellar.
Yeah.
But the thing, like coming into this pay-per-view and seeing that tag match, oh my God, it has everything I want. It's like, this is everything I want in wrestling.
This was the only thing that I thought that this one was missing was a little bit of the comedy wrestling.
A little bit.
We had some.
There were some spots, especially in the Bucks and Proud and Powerful match.
Sure.
There was a little bit of that, and there were some moments. Yeah, there were some good moments here and there. But you're right. I think there could. Trust me, I'm the guy who will say there could always be a little bit more Looney Tunes bullshit.
Yeah. Now, personally, had it been me, if I could armchair book this thing for a second,
yes,
I would have taken away. Number one, we knew Britt Baker had the flu because they announced it on Twitter like an hour before the pay-per-view started. I would have pulled that match and say, you know what? Give me Orange Cassidy versus whoever.
Yeah, I was like, I would. Yeah, she needs the night off then.
Yeah.
It's cool you want to be tough. I would have said it to Bret Hart too. It's cool you want to be tough, but at 104 degrees, you should be in a hospital.
Yeah, and she was only at 102.
At 102, you should be in bed.
Yeah,
that's near delirious. You'll probably dehydrate yourself. That's go lay the fuck down.
Yeah. And let's be honest, your work rate isn't stellar anyway.
It's like, you get better, we'll get you back on the show. It's fine. You'll get there again.
Yeah.
We like you.
And then we'll pull Orange Cassidy in there and give him a mask. Give him a mask wrestler. Man, we've had some give him a hood and we can do some great jobbing matches.
Sure.
And he can fill 10 minutes of time with that. And look, that's fine with me.
Sure.
Yeah, hell, give him Colt Cabana. How funny would that have been?
How do they not have Colt Cabana on their roster?
Because Colt Cabana is currently the NWA national champion in NWA Power.
Gotcha. Okay. That is a shame though, because I think he'd be great on. He's probably great on NWA Power. He should be in AEW too.
Yeah, he's actually tagging with Mr. Anderson.
Nice.
Anderson.
Right.
And there's some good stuff coming up. So, man, I've got to ask you.
Okay.
Best dressed.
Oh. Hang on, I'm taking a second to.
Now, my best dress, this is an easy one for me.
Okay.
Because I think that, oh my God, her name just fell right out of my head.
Rio?
No.
Amy Sakura?
No.
I don't.
Cody's wife.
I forgot.
Brandy.
Okay.
I kept wanting to say Brenda for some reason. I was like, Brenda? Who the hell's Brenda? It's Brandy Rhodes looked amazing. I know you didn't see it,
right? Because
you didn't watch the buy-in,
right?
After the Britt Baker Priestley match, who should come down but Brandy Rhodes with Awesome Kong in tow.
Yeah, they played the highlights of they replayed the highlights of that.
Yeah. And
she's got a Craven the Hunter thing going on now.
Yeah.
With taking trophies from
that she's not even winning any matches. She's just cutting people's hair.
All right, let's see where this is.
She's Brutus Beefcake.
Right. I'll go with Private Party.
Private Party, right on. Okay, worst dressed.
Worst dressed. Proud and Powerful.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. No.
I mean, it fits their style, but they're not winning any beauty contests.
Well done, sir. Well, God, that.
Also, can we point out Cody has pulled a full Sting with this pay-per-view, both in looks and being fully betrayed?
Yes, he has. Yeah.
He was just missing the eye face paint.
Mm-hmm. Andy, he's got the bleach blonde.
Yep, that's what I was saying. I was looking at
man.
that. I was looking at that and his tights and was like, Sting?
He's the franchise.
He is.
He is the franchise. This was a great pay-per-view.
Yes, it was.
I hate that we're going to shit on it because this coming Sunday, we have Survivor Series.
But I'll say this right now. I don't go into any pay-per-view looking to shit on it, except maybe Crown Jewel.
Well, I got to be honest with you. Right now in Survivor Series, we have Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT.
Right. You mentioned they were setting that up.
They're setting that up, and brother, I am daring to dream.
Yeah. That's the worst, but that's the worst thing WWE does. It gives you hope every once in a while.
I know it's.
But I don't.
Evil has already been let out of Pandora's box, and there's nothing left.
Well, according to that story, the only thing left in the box was hope.
Yeah, and that's why.
Yeah. but I don't go into any of these pay-per-views looking to shit on anything.
No.
And in fact, I since I don't watch the show, I kind of go in blank slate-ish.
Sure.
But it's their game. It's their ball game to win or lose.
Yeah.
And WWE does a really good job of just tossing the ball into the.
They won't even toss it to the other players.
No.
They set the ball on fire.
No, they look at
and
you
and kick their own players in the nuts.
They look at you. They take a knife and they gut the ball right in front of you and drop it down and give you the fingers, but they're censored out because it's PG. And they're ha ha. Got you good. Now you can't win. It's like, you can't either.
But yeah, so that's going to happen this Sunday. And I don't know exactly when the next podcast is going to be. If we can get it out next week, then, we can try.
We will try, and unfortunately,
I don't think it's going to happen because
it's Thanksgiving, and my schedule is fucked. So usually, it's usually my fault these don't happen on the time.
It's almost always your fault.
Thank you. I was trying to be gracious. But now
truthful.
Yes. Now, fuck you. Thank you. This is the last episode. Good night.
Well, somebody had to say it.
Yeah.
And, David Hensley, he's going to be going out of town. So
right. You're listening to the Mega Powers explode right now. I made myself feel bad a little bit.
Wow.
I was like, I was just trying to be playful digging, and I was like, oh, no, I think I'm crossing lines.
Mach.
I'm sorry.
I miss Mach.
We all do.
We're left with Hogan.
With an orange goblin?
We've got Hogan. That's who we've got to tell shoot interviews now.
And
we don't have Roddy Piper and Roddy's going to lie too.
Yeah,
but at least he tells you.
I feel like their lies are closer to what actually happened.
We got Warrior. He's gone. He can't contradict him
with his own bananas theory.
Yeah, Mach isn't here to contradict him.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He's one of our last direct links to the past.
I'm starting to think that Hogan may have murdered all three of them. Yeah. Hogan's got that kind of money to kill people, doesn't he?
Is he fueled by grandpa racist power?
Well, he was around with Cornette, so he could... Yucca!
Only one of them is on record saying the N-word, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I won't deny that maybe Cornette said it.
I feel like he had to have, but maybe just not in context.
But at least he knew he wasn't being taped.
Right. Well, that's gonna do it for
Hell
This
yeah.
Is a Work.
Let's end it on that note.
Yeah, that's how it.
That's how this show rolls.
We start the way we begin. We start the way we end.
We start the way we begin, too.
Yeah. Guys, I want to thank everybody for listening. You can follow me on Instagram at Doggz. This is a work. You can find me on Facebook, David Doggz Hayes. You can also follow Long Walk Productions. Barnes?
Yes, they have sites. I don't remember them off the top of my head. Shit, sorry.
No, what about...
you can check Long Walk out on www.longwalk.us. On Facebook, it's Long Walk Pro. I have my own Twitter. I barely use it, but you're welcome to yell at me in case you can't remember Doggz' stuff. I'm on Twitter at Chris the All Right. There's only one T, and it's at the end.
Got it. Chris the Alt-Right.
No! That is the opposite of what I wanted.
He only has...
Oh, my God.
He only has one follower at his cornet.
I'm going to have to change his Twitter handle again.
That's honestly that's the reason I get you to say it every show. Just I love saying it, Chris the Alt-Right. There he is.
Oh my God.
That haircut you got didn't do it any favors.
What haircut would that be, Doggz?
The shaved head.
The one that I don't have right now?
Well, no, you actually are growing it out right now.
That's mostly because I don't have time to cut it. But
oh, okay. All right. Well, guys, if you got out of bed today and you had a job to go to and someone that cares about you when you get home, folks, this match is over and you just won via pinfall, via WoW. Every week.
And submersion?
Thank you very much for listening to This Is a Work.